Welcome back to the channel. I'm Trevor with Maker Experiment, and today I'm going to be starting part one of a two-part build. So for this two-part series, I'm actually making two different types of signs. One is going to be my normal acrylic stack style, and the other one is going to be an LED backlit frame sign. Both of these signs are actually going to be going to Trottie Golf, so Chris from Taylormade Golf. I reached out to him, talked to him a little bit about trying to work with him on a cool project. And after going back and forth a little bit, we figured out what kind of signs he'd like to have. And those are what I'm going to be starting today. A few days ago, I actually built up the frame for the LED lit sign. I did it off camera because I just happened to be at my friend's shop. I didn't have my camera equipment with me, so I didn't get a chance to film that. But the first thing I want to do is actually test fit the frame that I made. So the frame is made out of maple, and it actually has dominoes in it to hold it all together. Right now it's in pieces that I'll be able to put back together. I actually took the maple and stained it black with Monocoat. So the frame and everything will be jet black. The acrylic is going to be an LED sign grade white, and then his logo is actually going to be in matte black acrylic. And all this will be lit from behind with some LED strips. So the first thing that I want to do is actually take what I already made, test fit, and make sure that the acrylic piece I have is going to fit. And once I verify that, I can go ahead and cut the logo parts, assemble everything, and then put all of the lighting in. So first, let's go ahead and test fit this up and see if it fits. I have all the parts of the frame laid out, and I'm going to walk you through what I did to make the frame, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to test fit it. Here is the profile of the actual frame. So on the side here, this groove is where the acrylic piece is going to sit into. This groove here is actually for the backer board to go into. So the frame is going to sit like this, with this being the front and this being the back. So this domino is going to actually hold the frame together. The acrylic will sit here, the LED lighting will sit between this acrylic piece and then the back of the frame, and then the back piece will just slide into place. I'm going to go ahead and put together 3 of the sides because the acrylic piece is actually going to slide into this groove, and then I actually have to close the frame up behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and dry fit all of this together, make sure that it all fits. Once I can verify that, I'll start making the rest of the pieces for the sign and then go through the assembly process. So first up is the dry fit. So first I'm going to put these side pieces on to this top piece. For these, the domino just slides into the slot and it can push right together. When I go to glue these up, I will clamp them together, but that domino will help strengthen that joint. So I'm going to go ahead and put the other side on. Overall, they slide on pretty easily. And now that I have that, I'm going to slide the acrylic into these grooves and then just dry fit and make sure this piece slides into place. So the one thing with this is I didn't adjust for the overall width very well. So there is a little bit of play side to side, but the top and the bottom should constrain that. So again, there is a little bit of play side to side. Overall, this acrylic piece fits into place. It does fit top to bottom. I accounted for the width correctly there. It is a little off left to right, but it still slides into place. It just means that there's a little bit of room, which actually can sometimes be a helpful thing. But once the full logo sign is done, I can actually secure this into place from the backside using these little black framing nails that can bend down and secure it. So from the backside, you'll see that there's a couple of inches of a gap that will help with the lighting and be able to disperse more of the light. There's also the groove in the back for the back piece to fit into. So the backer is going to be a piece of 1/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. I just need to trim down the edge a little bit to fit perfectly in this frame. I'm gonna wait till the frame is fully assembled to do that. And then this will be held into place with framing nails as well. Now that I went through and dry fit all the pieces, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of the logo pieces out of the matte black acrylic that I have so that I can go ahead and assemble the acrylic section of the sign. And while that's cutting, I'm going to be testing the LED strips, just make sure they work. But let's head over to the laser and cut out those pieces. Now that all the pieces of the sign have been cut, it's time to go ahead and assemble those to the backer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first, and then we'll start putting it all together. The acrylic is all assembled. Now it's time to go ahead and put it into the frame and glue the frame together and make sure that that's all secure. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that step and then start on the LED wiring. Now that all the side pieces are assembled, I need to go ahead and put the LED strip on the inside of the frame. What I'm probably going to do is put LED strips along the wooden frame side, as well as on the back panel that's going to go into here, just so I have more light. I do want to make sure that I space them far enough away from this acrylic that you don't get the individual LED dots. You want to make sure that you space them back far enough that it diffuses and doesn't look like hot spots. So the first thing I want to do is actually go through and put LED strips on the inside, and I'm going to put these down with double-sided tape. And then once those are in, I'm going to light it up, see how it looks, and then add more where I need to. The LED strips do come with double-sided tape on them, but I find that it doesn't hold up that well. So I'm going to add some extra double-sided tape that's just a little bit of quality to help keep everything in place. And I'm only going to put a few strips every so often, just because you don't need it the full length of the piece. Now that the first set of LED strips is in, I'm going to go ahead and put the backer on just as a placeholder, and I'm going to test light it, see what it looks like, and then figure out if I need to add more lights, where I might need to add them, and then go through that process. So first up, let's go ahead and test this. Eventually I will add a hole over here for the LED strip to come out, but for now, I'm just gonna hold it closed. Okay, so it's not too bad so far. So I've got the LEDs all around the side. It looks like the middle is gonna need some, but overall, it looks pretty good. So if I go ahead and turn the light out, let's see, it glows pretty well. Cycle through some colors. So depending on what color you're using, it shows up a little bit better, but overall, this looks pretty good. I do want to add a few more strips to the backer, but I'm pretty happy with this so far. All right, so as I expected, the border and the corners light up really well. The middle is lacking a little bit, so I'm going to add some LED strips to the backer. But the first thing I want to do is actually add the black little prongs that I use to hold the backer in place, as well as a hole for the LED strip to fit through. That way this can all be plugged in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those two things first, and then we'll add more LED strips. So for the hole that I'm gonna drill in this panel, I need to make sure that the hole is larger than the input on the LED strip. So for this, the only bits I really have that fit are these spade bits. But if you had something that was larger and a regular bit, that would work. The 3/4 one will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill the hole out, line it up, and then try to secure the backer in place, make sure that all works, and then we'll go ahead and add the extra LED strips. And I'm actually gonna flip this over halfway through, just so it doesn't have much tear out on the back side. All right, okay, so that part of the backer's done. It does fit through just fine. I'm just going to make sure that that is secured a little bit better for the LED strip. And for now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest inside of here while I secure the frame into place. Now I'm gonna put black framing nails in. Let me get the tool. So here's the tool. It's called a fitting tool. So this tool is gonna put these small black nails into it. These are the kind that you find pretty much in any frame that you have. They bend so you can take the backer on and off whenever you need to. And they're pretty easy to use. You just load them into this bottom part, and then you'll just push it into the side. I actually got this at Michael's. I don't remember how much it was, but I'll leave a link below as to what this tool is and where you can get it. So I'm gonna put one about in the middle. But you just squeeze, loosen this part up, slide it back, and then you have a nice little nail inside of here. Now that the backer is on and it's got all the nails in it, I'm going to go ahead, take that part off, add LED strips to the back part of this, and then reassemble it all, see how it lights up, and hopefully we'll be good to go. I wouldn't suggest using your fingers to pry these up. I'd grab like a screwdriver or something that can get underneath of them, just because otherwise your fingernails are really going to hurt. So to do this, I just use this plastic razor blade. This actually comes in handy a lot, especially when working with acrylic. So if you don't have one of these, it's a good shop tool to have. Now for this part, what I want to do is add strips along the middle, probably right around here and one right here, and see if that helps light the rest of this up. Okay, so this is going to be test number 2 with one entire reel of LED strips. I may need to add more, but I want to find out before I need to solder anything together. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the light off, see what it looks like. So I am going to need to add more LEDs here, maybe one more strip right down the center. I'll have to add these in. I may solder them together instead of just plugging in a second one. But overall, it looks pretty good. I need to add some here and then finish up here where I ran out. But overall, pretty good. One reel of LED strips was not enough, so I need to add some more. I'm going to go ahead and solder them together instead of having to plug in 2 different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep the first one for the solder, and then the second one, hook it all together, and hopefully everything will work out. Actually, this is gonna work pretty well. So I'm just gonna try to use the wires that are here. I'm gonna clip this part off and then solder this side directly to the other strip. So I don't wanna make this super long. So I'm just gonna cut it right about there. And now I need to actually strip these wires to be able to solder them to the other side. Now I'm going to cut the second strip on this copper line where it has the scissor mark. That way I don't damage any of the LEDs in between. And since this is waterproof LEDs, I need to go ahead and strip off this weatherproof coating. I'm just going to do that with a knife. Now that everything's soldered up, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in just to make sure all the connections go into this reel over here. As long as that lights up, we should be good to go. Okay, so the connection's fine. I just need to wrap it in tape and then I can continue wiring this. Now that all the LEDs are in, I'm just gonna add a couple extra strips of tape just to keep things secure. Then I'm gonna close this up and see how well it lights. Okay, so it looks like the lighting's a little bit better in this middle section here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn out the light and see what it looks like. Okay, with the light off, it looks a lot better. So if I cycle through white, blue, green, red, so all of the leads are working, and you can get some other colors on this remote as well. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. All of the lighting is in and it is working. So I just tested everything out and it looks pretty good. So the next step is to actually peel the masking off of the black acrylic and get the sign completely ready to go. And once I peel that masking off, this sign is good to go to Trottie. Thanks for sticking with me through the video. Here's the final sign. So this one is going to be going out to Chris at Taylormade Golf. I want to thank him for doing this collaboration. And thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the build process. If you like what you see, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more videos. Leave a comment below as to what your favorite process or part of this project was. Be sure to check out my Instagram at Maker Experiment, where I show projects like this way ahead of the YouTube video. But that's gonna do it for this project, and I'll see you next time.